Hey everyone, and Guten Abend, as the Germans would say. You can tell straight away that German is not my strong point, but of course we are here to talk about the German Grand Prix. I don't know what adjective we're using today, but I might go for jubilant, perhaps. I don't know, there's a whole host of words. I enjoyed this race. It will become clear why, obviously, but yeah, some good results in there. I'm going to go straight in with the questions. I'm going to try not to make this video epically long this week, but you know it's inevitable. Anyway, question 1. In Q3, we again saw cars not setting a lap time. Do you think a punishment should be made to prevent this, or are you happy with the situation? At the moment, I'm fine with it, but then that's because I haven't paid hundreds of pounds to go to the circuit to watch the F1 cars, drive. I can understand completely why people in the stands who have paid good money to, watch these guys race and, actually do their job. I can understand why it's frustrating, of course. It's the same with practice. Why have an hour and a half long session when no one's going to go out for the first half hour and then they'll, sit around in between doing fast laps and then race pace simulations. So I can understand the frustration. It doesn't affect me personally when I'm, sat watching at home. I don't really mind. I'm not sure I would be so harsh as to force them to do a time, because I think as you know, I really like the strategic element of the sport, and I think the whole weekend comes into that. So if part of your strategy is to save tyres on Saturday and this will come into play on Sunday and liven things up a bit, then fair play to you. But if it's just a case of which tyres you qualify on, but everyone has to do a lap in Q3, and that might just mess up someone's strategy. I mean, they've used a set of tyres that they didn't need to, and they're going to be 9th or 10th anyway. So personally, I wouldn't be so harsh and make a rule instructing that. I mean, it's nice to see the drivers actually, on track and getting on with it, but at the moment, it's not affecting me personally, and we shall see, because exciting news. I'm hopefully, I think, probably, definitely going to go to Spa. So we shall see whether I am getting grumpy, wearing my giraffe onesie, a la Romain, whether I get grumpy because no one's on track. But we'll see, yeah. Not affecting me personally at the moment, so I would leave it and let the strategy come into play. Yeah. Question 2. Which race performance most impressed you? It pretty much has to be a tie between my boys, my two faves, Jenson and Romain. First of all, Jenson, I know he didn't, he's not like he ended up on the podium or whatever, but look at that McLaren and how terrible it is and how they would struggle to even get a single point in previous races. And, he's come home in 6th, and I maintain would have been 5th if it hadn't been for Caterham's mucking, feel free to change one of those letters if you like, mucking around on track and getting in his way. Then I don't think Hamilton would have necessarily caught him so easily. So yeah, 5th or 6th in a McLaren at this stage is incredible, and I think he did well enough to get into Q3, to be honest, on Saturday. I was really pleased and happy that he could save some tyres and just stick with 9th in Q3. Yeah, and he just did amazingly well. I mean, yeah, Perez had him at the first, but again, the strategy comes into it, and he's on one tyre and everyone else on another, and yeah, I just think it went well, and he had some good fierce battles, and yeah, he got his teammate right back, and yeah, it was so good to see him actually in with a shot again. I mean, you see him, sticking on the prime tyre and making his way up to be driving around in 3rd. I mean, I know that's not the net result, but that's good for him. It's good for him to be up there and battling, and it's strategy as well as race pace. You can't just be the fastest guy out there. That doesn't help. So yeah, I think a great all-round performance from Jenson, and thankfully not too screwed over by McLaren for once. And Romain, I seriously, I was getting overly emotional. I thought he was going to win. I seriously, I thought it was going to happen. I jokingly said to a colleague at work, he was like, who's going to win? And I was like, what do you mean, who I think will win, or who do I want to win? And he was like, both. And I was like, well, Roman's going to win. I'd like him to win. And then I kind of changed my mind and said Webber or something, but obviously didn't come off in the end. But yeah, it was a stunning performance. I mean, obviously the Lotus is better at this circuit with the change in the tyres and the higher temperatures. It suited them, but it was so good to see them both battling it out. Kimi being hilarious on the radio again with the "I've told you 5 times," about his tyres and all that hilarity. But Romain going, "I'm much faster than Kimi." I mean, that he's got balls. That's you don't really say that about Kimi Räikkönen, but it was glorious. He was really. I think he could have caught Vettel. He was getting there. He was within the DRS zone so often. It was wonderful to watch. I really like that Lotus are up there because I like both their drivers, which is they're potentially the only team on the grid where I like both drivers. See Romain a little bit more because he's just too adorable. So yeah, it was superb. It was great to see them up there. I got so worried towards the end when I thought Alonso was going to snatch that podium place away from him, and however much I want Alonso and Raikkonen to close up on Vettel to liven up the championship, I wanted Romain to win. Oh, that would have been so good. So yes, that was lovely. I think performance of the day, he kept out of trouble, some great overtaking, and just the sheer pace. I mean, he was getting fastest laps left, right and centre, and, keeping his teammate at bay and chasing down the reigning world champion. I mean, he was on it, and it was really nice for him to get some recognition for that, because he gets a really hard time, in my opinion. So, yeah, Romain and Jenson, I think, can share that one jointly for best performance of the day/weekend. Question 3. In light of the time in the pit lane, do you think safety precautions should be introduced to all those in the pit lane area? Yeah, this is actually, I asked the question about this kind of the other day, when I think during free practice, and they're doing kind of race-esque pit stops, like they're doing racing pit stops, and all the pit crew, instead of their usual fireproof suits and onesies and whatever they've got going on and helmets, they're wearing basically cardies, and I'm like, what difference does it make? They're still going the same speeds, the pit lane speed limiter, they're doing exactly the same job. I thought it was very strange that they weren't having the same safety precautions just because it's free practice rather than the race. So this was kind of on my mind. I remember, thinking, Ted and Natalie are ambling around there, and the amount of times when Ted and Johnny are stood at the end of the pit lane, getting half run over by people doing practice starts on the way to the grid. And, it's odd, really, when there's such strict safety precautions for the actual pit crew, and then for other people in exactly the same area, no precaution whatsoever. So, I don't think for me it's actually about today's incident with Webber's rogue tyre, trying to take out that cameraman. I don't think it's specifically on that issue. I think in general I'm slightly baffled about the kind of difference in rules. So, but I'm sure today's events will, kind of bring some kind of ruling in, hopefully. We shall see. It was very strange that the FIA, the stewards couldn't be bothered to investigate these unsafe releases, or unsafe release, as unsafe relief. That's the one. That's what Crofty said. It was slightly baffling. Slightly smutty, I don't know. We haven't had enough F1 smut lately, guys. Gotta get some of that back in. That's what. No, I'm not. No. So yeah, I think there's plenty of debate about that's going to provoke it. I mean, hopefully he's okay and he was getting medical attention and has broken ribs or something, but overall he's fine. So that's the main thing. That's all good. So now the bonus question. A lot of overtakes came as a result of DRS in today's race. What is your opinion on the device now it's in its 3rd year in F1? Wow, 3 years fly by is my first thought. I think, my opinion is not definite, because I think it varies depending on the circuit and the zones and the detection points and all the variables. Today I thought it was fine. It wasn't one of those ones where you just go, oh, that was too easy. It was a good addition, and it got people into the battles, and there were lots of battles today, and you have to think DRS has helped with that, because how else are people going to get close enough if one car has straight line speed, one car has cornering speed and all that jazz. So yeah, I think overall it's fine. The one thing I would definitely change would be the bizarre rule where you can use it no matter what car is in front of you wherever you're within a second, because that makes no sense to me when it's a back marker. I mean, that's not a car you're fighting with. I don't think you should be able to take advantage of that when you're not actually fighting with someone in the same area of track. I think the DRS rule should be within a second, yes, but only if the car in front is the one you're battling with, the one that's in front position-wise as well as on track. Yeah, I think you've got enough complications with back markers, you know, weaving about and being cucumbers, and, you know, why all the time I get the blue flags and all this. You've got enough complications. I don't think you should bring DRS into it. I think if there was an easy way of, you know, making sure that DRS was used with the right car in front and so on. I mean, most people know. I mean, the car in front will be seeing blue flags. The car behind will probably know by the sheer slowness of the car in front, and, you know, they know who they're battling. It should be easy enough to know what's going on, and yeah, I'd say leave DRS to the actual battles, the actual on-track battles. So that's what I'd change. I think Crofty was saying on Twitter that he was kind of thinking that as well. But overall, I mean, yeah, you're always going to get the occasional artificial-looking overtake, but do we want to go back to a procession? No. I don't want to sit there thinking, you know, I'm so close but I can't actually get past, and everyone's just stuck in each other's dirty air and blah blah blah. So yeah, I would say it's all good, but maybe remove the rule where you can use it with back markers. So there you go. Slightly shorter than last week, yay. Not gone on and on. Yeah, I really enjoyed this race. I think it was just getting to a stage where no one that I really supported was doing well enough for me to enjoy the races, and that was kind of sad. I mean, I still do. I can still admire, like last week, you know, Hamilton and Paul di Resta battling on track. I can still see the skill there and admire it, even though I don't like either of them. But of course, it's always nice when someone you really support is actually doing well for once and has a chance. So yeah, it was a good race. I thought it was at work yet again, but it was all fun and games. At least I get paid to watch it, sort of thing. Yeah, and the one week I don't wear my Lotus shirt, I wore a McLaren shirt for a little bit of button voodoo. The one week I don't wear it, they do really well. But McLaren did well as well. So I maintain a little bit of Selwyn voodoo does assist occasionally. So yeah, bit of a wait until Hungary, but I'm hoping I get to join a few of you for Hungaroring, which will be F1 in Pub's Birmingham division. No strict dress code this time. If you want to come dressed, you know, inspired by John Button, feel free. It's a good look, as we know. But yeah, hopefully you get to reunite and watch that all with you, because apparently this race, this Fun Formula, is a year anniversary of my debut in Fun Formula with Dom and David, sandwiched in the middle, and a lot of nodding and agreeing. It was a good one. Divine Deutschland, I believe. So yeah, can't believe it's been a year of Fun Formulaing, if that's even a thing, I don't know. I'm totally rambling now, I should really shut up. But yes, enjoyable race. I hope you all enjoyed it too. I hope I'm going to see some of your videos up on glorious YouTube soon. So yeah, that's all for Jubilant Germany, as I'm going to call it. So I will see you for hopefully some kind of crazy Fun Formulology group edition for the Hungarian Grand Prix. So until then, yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye!